because we have thousands of fabric and we're an interior design destination, it's really a custom curated look for you. So it goes from the service to the aesthetic.
Super excited about the show today. We've got Jared Roth from Ethan Allen.
A lot of our clients are extremely educated from watching all the different design HGTV and all the different design TV shows that are on now. I've learned a lot of lessons from my history, maybe hiring too fast and I can sign someone up on for the job quickly. What's the point if they're not going to be a great fit?
Welcome to Thread Talks, where we stitch together tales of style and substance. Join us as we chat with industry icons, master tailors, innovators, and business experts. We'll discuss how to look and feel your best. Explore how fashion shapes our lives, the artistry behind custom clothing, and the deep stories woven into the fabric of our identities. Here's your host, Peter Roberti of Adrian Jules.
Super excited about the show today. We've got Jared Roth from Ethan Allen. We've got some great stuff we're going to talk about. New things that he's done this past year, some new stuff that he's got coming up for next year. So, Jared, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me on, Peter. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Awesome. So talk to me a little bit about Ethan Allen, the high-end furniture and interior design business. Walk me through how you got involved in the industry. Talk to me how you got involved in the industry.
Yeah, so the way I got involved in the industry was through my family. So I'm a third generation owner of Ethan Allen. Okay. We started in 1965 with Ethan Allen. However, the lifeblood of the furniture business for me was my great grandfather, who started in 1923, exactly almost 100 years ago from today.
Wow.
Working in New York City he was a furniture salesman for Saks Quality Furniture. So he worked. He was 17 he was 17 years old when he started, and eventually he got recruited to join a company in Syracuse called Roy's. So he worked at a store called Roy's in like the 1940s. And then eventually him and the top salesperson opened up their own store called Robert's Furniture. And then at some point shortly thereafter, my grandfather joined his dad. His name was Edward Roth, was my great grandfather. So Bob, my grandfather joined his dad, and then later a few years into that, his brother, my great uncle Bud, joined my great grandfather. In like 1961, and then after working with their dad for like 4 or 5 years, and basically a true kind of like furniture store concept, and they expanded once the older son Bud joined, they expanded the store, and they had a real successful business for some time. But then the two brothers were they heard about this real innovative concept of like selling furniture as part of rooms, like typically. Furniture was like you line up the black sofas, line up the chairs, line up the beds, and it was all merchandised in that manner. There were no room settings, but they heard about this concept from Ethan Allen, where Ethan Allen was looking for investors and for entrepreneurs to open their store, and that's when 1965 they're like we're in. So they both left their dad, and shortly thereafter, my great grandfather closed his store within a few years after his kids left and retired. But basically, it goes all the way back to Ethan Allen days. Go all the way back to Camillus, New York, on Genesee Street, which is now in Syracuse. Yeah, which is now
Syracuse was the first store.
Was our first store was in Camillus, New York, okay. right in the Syracuse market and that's where my dad was born and raised in Syracuse. In fact, when later on we came to in 1972, we expanded to Rochester, and my dad actually stayed back to live with his grandma. To finish high school, because he didn't, he's like, I'm in junior in high school, I want to finish. So, but my family originated from New York City to, but whatever. But basically, since 1960s, Ethan and I, we started in Syracuse.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that. Okay. So wait, just back up two steps here. So wait, your dad was in high school and he was working, or was he owned the Syracuse location, or
no? It's what happened was, so eventually 1965 they opened the first store in Camillus. They expanded to DeWitt, a second store in Syracuse, 1968. In 1972, when Wilmerite started the mall, I'm at Eastview today, and when Wilmerite started this mall, we're an original tenant here, and that is when my grandma moved to Rochester, but my dad, who was like 16 at the time, was like, I'm going to stay back with Edward and Edward's and my great grandmother, they're going to stay back and live with them to finish out high school. So that's how that story goes.
So how many locations do you have? So where are you at now? Where is the locations you have now?
So at the moment, we have the Victor showroom, Victor retail store. We have a DeWitt design studio. So we did leave eventually the company separated in the late 1980s. So my side of the family stayed in the Rochester market, and this was when I was 2 years old. So I don't really remember the time, but eventually my great uncle stayed in the Syracuse market, and my family stayed in Rochester. However, the whole Roth family as a whole left the Syracuse market about 30 years ago, and then we've been owning and operating. When I joined the business in 2011, we had only one location. We had which is now next door to us. It's Goodwill. It had a retail store and a warehouse, all attached. It was a one facility operation, and now we've expanded to three facilities. One showroom here, which is going to be transitioning to Monroe Avenue. We have our studio, a 2,500 square foot design studio in DeWitt, New York, off of Erie Boulevard. And that is coming on 1 year. So in a few days, November 30th, we'll be operating there for a full 12 months. We're almost at our 1 year anniversary. Wow. And we have a big party coming up on December 2nd to celebrate that. Nice. And then also down the street from us, 3 miles down the road, we have our own distribution center where we have a staff of 5 people and an office there. Our business office, where we receive our trucks, our clients' furniture. We prep it, we inspect it, we go the whole 9 yards on that part of our business as well. But so we have 3 locations now: distribution center and 2 retail stores.
Okay, so I heard you say design studio out in Syracuse. So I've been into the studio, and it's unlike any furniture store that I've ever been in. So walk me through why you did it like this and where you think that the industry's going. Like, do you feel like, walk us through what it's like in there, because there's not a ton of furniture everywhere. So it's different than any other store that I've been in before.
Yeah, there's very little amount of furniture. It actually reminds me of a different industry and a similar store concept that you might be familiar with.
Right.
But no, I mean, that's really our focus is the interior design, concept. So when you walk in, there's very little furniture. It's a very nice studio, but there's very little service. But the number one thing we want you to have when you walk in the door is for an interior designer to greet you. So we're not looking for you to. We're hoping that we can engage with our walk-in leads right away and make an impression and educate and let our clients know the breadth of offerings we have, because we really do we have a full solution concept that we go for that includes furniture, window treatments, hardwood flooring, really everything that encompasses interior design and decorating the home. But that's where we try to differentiate ourselves rather than a furniture store, and where I feel like where we can excel and where our future is. We're putting all of our energy into that basket of interior design. So when you shop with us and you're looking for just to replace your sofa, we have thousands of fabrics to choose from, and we want to curate a really, really custom wow look. It doesn't need to be crazy, but something wow that is a little bit different. So like when we quote out and we present to you a sofa, the fabric might have a texture, a little pattern. It's not going to, beyond the fact that we're great quality and a reputable brand and a long-standing business. We want the look to also represent a high level of interior design and thought that goes into that. So it's not something that it's differentiated. It's not something that you can buy at a West Elm or an R House or even a Bassett. Like because we have thousands of fabrics and we're an interior design destination. It's really a custom curated look for you. So it goes from the service to the aesthetic as well, and the quality, of course.
So how does, because there's only select strategic pieces around the design studio, how does someone like myself, if I go in there with my wife, like, and we start picking out stuff, how do I visualize it? How do I see that? How would I see that in my house? Like, what does that look like?
It's a good question. I mean, but to your point, you're right. They are well thought out, really intentional pieces that are on the floor. So there might be a sofa, one sofa that has a track arm and it has tufting on the back, where there's another sofa with a cushions on the back, not a tight back, but like actual cushions and a roll arm. There could be a sofa with a curvature, and then we strategically pick like 8 or 9 chairs that have all different heights, all different styles, so we can say, sit in this. Do you normally put your legs up? We just start asking you questions. Our designers are really good at fact finding, so they'll ask you tons and tons of questions about how you live at home and what you're looking for to try to show you which piece is going to best suit your needs. And ultimately, as an interior designer, our designers have a large amount of products compared to a typical interior designer who might have a small, might work out of a 300 or 400 square foot office, or a lot of interior designers even work out of their home. So this is an interior design studio that actually, when you frame it as an interior design studio, it has, more product than any other interior design studio you go to, maybe across the country. So we have actually a large amount of product compared to, focusing on the interior design portion of it.
So, all right. So I think there's sometimes, a misconception with interior designers or hiring interior designers. I was with my family over the weekend. We were kind of touching on it because we did we had you guys come in and help do some of the showroom. And, I think that it saves time. It uses the space efficiently. I think there's a lot of benefits of it, but I think there's a misconception, like I said, that it actually costs more money, and it's, and people try and do it on their own. What would you tell someone if they're having that debate in their mind?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, honestly, we don't charge. Number one, we don't charge for our actual design service. So,
okay.
And we have a really unique concept where we really go all in on our concept to recruit and have really, really highly talented designers on our team. So you're getting a legitimate, really high quality designer as a person, as a space planner, as a design selections, as a collaborator who's going to see what best fits your needs. So you're getting that same designer that you might have paid $150 or $200 an hour to work with, but you're getting that complimentary shopping at Ethan Allen. And yeah, and then you, like you said, you checked all the boxes. Like, you want to have an efficient space plan. A lot of people watch. A lot of our clients are extremely educated from watching all the different design HGTV and all the different design TV shows that are on now. But until you do it every day and you collaborate with clients, like our designers, it's in their blood and they do it every day. They collaborate to see to find solutions that fit their client's need. Until you do the actual space layout and design selections, and that this fabric's going to go great on this sectional, you might want to do this look with this ottoman, and until you really do it every day, there is such a thing as a professional, like in any industry. Just because you watch TV shows and things, you're not actually at the skill level as a true professional. So we do pride ourselves on talent and our designers, and again, it's just a huge one of the huge many value adds that is part of the client experience with us.
Yeah. So how much, I got to imagine there's training, or there's, a lot that goes into it before they could actually start, interacting with the client. Right. Or am I wrong in saying that?
No, you're right. When we opened the design studio in Syracuse, November 30th of 2022, last year, we brought on designers that had tremendous amount of experience in the interior design field. Like, they had their own. They've been a few different, been in different industries, but also had their own design business that was successful and worked with a large breadth of clients. However, having said that, we still wanted them to really know our product really well, because our Ethan Allen product, and also know our processes really well. The R&G Furniture, that's our actual company's name's Processes, and know our people well. So we actually brought them in for an 8-week training period. So they commuted from Syracuse, and they traveled to our flagship store here and trained for 8 straight weeks, 4 days a week. One of our designers, Caroline Sussman, I could say she was award-winning designer with us, but she was the first one here. She was the first one here and the last one to leave, even with her 3-hour commute, hour and a half here, hour and a half there. She still, every single day, she was a lot. And so they trained train really hard, and that's what helps facilitate that experience. So when someone walks in the door and you don't have all the product, you have to know the business well, you have to know the design trends well, but you also have to know the processes well, and the point, just the softwares, and just so the training, we invest heavily in the training. When anyone coming on board to our team now, it's about a 5-week training period. So it's a big investment, 5 weeks of paid training. And again, we're only bringing on people that who first have gone through several interviews. They've interviewed with our service center team manager. They've interviewed with me, our operations manager. They've been to the service center physically. They've done a 3-hour design challenge where we bring the last one of the parts of the process is we bring them in for a formal design challenge where they have to pick out fabrics, have to do a presentation to myself and other members on the team. So there's a number of things they have to do. We obviously also check. So it's really intentionally. I mean, I hear a lot of things in the industry, like you want to hire fast and do this and do that. But like I've kind of gone, I've learned a lot of lessons from my history from maybe hiring too fast. And like, yeah, I can sign someone up on for the job quickly, but what's the point if they're not going to be a great fit? So, I've actually got some feedback and compliments from a current person who's starting with us in a week or two. She's like, your process to hire someone is really incredible. Like she actually just appreciated the thoughtfulness that we go through before we bring someone on. So it wasn't like a negative thing. Oh, well, you should have just hired me already. Why? It was more like, well, I can see you really care about finding the right people in the right team, because we basically make the level of engagement from our team members with the recruit like really, really high. This recruit went to Syracuse for a whole day. This recruit that's coming on, she did a lot of engagement with our team, because what's the point? Why spend all that money and all that time on both the recruit and the business side unless the person's going to be a great fit? So I'd rather front load the recruiting process. And at the end of the day, if they find somewhere else in the meantime that wants to give them a great offer and they don't want to be on our team, I mean, that's honestly best for them, best for us. So that's really my mindset there.
So it's been a year since this new design, this new concept in terms of the design studio, which is, from my understanding, new to Ethan Allen. You're opening up a store here, a new location in Rochester here. Walk us through what that looks like. Is it similar concept of what you're doing? Because I mean, in your Victor location, how many square foot is that? That you're going from to what you're going to.
So it's very similar to DeWitt. It's on a little bit of a larger scale, because the square footage is over double the size. So the current location that we're in here is 11,500 square feet. And the new location we're taking over on Monroe Ave at Pittsford Square is 5,500 square feet. So it's less than half the size of where we are now. However, it's over double the size of the DeWitt studio. So it's really it's really a balance of on size, and that's we're super excited. We actually had a warehouse. A warehouse event, because obviously in this new space, having less than half the space, we're not going to need nearly as much inventory. So we had an event over the weekend that went really well, and we sold off some floor models and whatnot. And we're actually speaking of training and talent, we're actually setting up our current location as if it were the Pittsford studio. So we're in the process of setting up the studio right now. The Victor showroom, we're transitioning to a studio so that we get comfortable having less product. And we're gonna have a couple elements in the store here starting in the next couple of days as we set up. We're gonna have our basically essentially our Pittsford studio here. Then we're gonna have what we call the sample room and also a clearance center. Now, when we open in April in Pittsford, our sample room and our clearance center are going to transition to the service center down the street from us in Victor. And then the Pittsford studio that's going to be here is going to transfer to Pittsford. But it's going to allow us 5 months of continually training and with our team. And we even we just had a call this morning, but we do weekly calls with our Syracuse team regarding client engagement, regarding collaborating with the client. I like the question you asked, like how do you engage on a sofa? Like what questions what questions are you asking to see if it's the right fit for them when you don't have as much product? Like, so like we're constantly leveraging the success of DeWitt really every day to make sure that we have a good shot at being successful in Pittsburgh, because we don't take anything for granted. You can't really, we don't. So
So I just want to back up one.
Yeah, sure.
You're opening up when's the official opening for the Pittsford location?
So the official opening is April 15th, and we're opening currently it's the Joseph A. Bank space. It's the inner loop end cap in that Vitamin Shop Plaza. It's called Pittsford Square. Essentially, the opposite side of the road is Cheesecake Factory. Or if you're coming from the village of Pittsford, it's before you get to Whole Foods. And like as you exit the Wegmans on Monroe Ave, you'll see our sign in the top right corner that will say Ethan Allen. But anyhow, yeah, April 15th, and we're having a large party on the evening of May 3rd. So May 3rd, we have we're going all out with we have a DJ Naps, and we have
Nice.
Tony D's for food, and we have all these different Fifth Frame Brewery. We have all these different vendors coming in to invite all our clients out to check out. So we have a soft opening April 15th, but then a more grand opening event for the Friday evening, May 3rd.
Oh, wow. Okay. So could anyone come to this event, or how does it?
Anyone. And I got to share with you, we have this Pittsburgh, we have these really unique bags here. These leather bags are going to be and these leather bags, which are eco-friendly, are going to be given to every client, every person that comes to that party Friday night, going to be given these Pittsburgh Design Studio bags. So anyhow, but yeah, May 3rd.
Wow, that's exciting. Okay, so I got two more questions here. So what is I'm interested because I heard you say you offer flooring, which I didn't even realize that you guys did flooring. Well, because when I think of Ethan Allen, I think of couches, furniture, and I also think of design, interior designers. Like what is one thing that might surprise the people listening that you guys actually do for clients that might not be as obvious, if that makes sense?
I mean, that's a good question. I think there's a lot of things in the client experience that might pleasantly surprise the client quite a bit. I mean, one of them is we just had one that I'll mention. Yes, we do have we do have the flooring and the drapery and all that stuff that you mentioned. The product categories, that's big, but also in the process and people category, because I always think people, process, product. In the people and process category, and we do some unique things. For example, we just did a whole home installation in Skaneateles, a home on the lake, Skaneateles Lake. They got major remodel. We did most of the house, and on that delivery, we really take a thoughtful approach to order fulfillment. So that's why it's really important for us to be vertically integrated and own and operate our own service center that does inspects the product. We take pictures of everything. We repackage it. We get rid of the Ethan Allen packaging. We repackage it all. But anyhow, to my point, on this delivery, we had our designer there, Caroline Sussman. We had our design store manager, Ariel Boric, on the delivery. Plus, we had our service center manager, and we had 3 delivery team members as well. So we had a team of 6 people execute 75 pieces for a whole house. And it's not often that we have like a flawless execution. Normally there's something that, needs a little touch up, or no matter how proactive you are with handling the product and how well you treat it, you still might hit a bump on the road and whatever, something happens. Anyways, this was a flawless execution of the delivery. And that's one of the unique things that we have, and you'll see it on our reviews. The reviews are mentioned. Our designers are mentioned a lot, but also our delivery team and client service is mentioned a lot. So we had like 6 team members on this delivery, and then we had a lot of the neighbors who were overseeing this were just like, I can't believe that this whole team was here for the install. So like the execution on the install, not only did it go well, it's just part of our everyday process. So that's really not unusual. So one of the unique things is our designers, as part of their process, they do go out to a lot of the deliveries. And we're just really they'll review the product in the warehouse with photos. We use technology to share client photos with each other before the product goes out. So there's a huge amount of inspection of the product done by the designer, by our service center manager, and then the actual order fulfillment part. So I would say overall, people be a little shocked in how smooth that order fulfillment part of the business is, because out in the industry, it's not that's not really seen across the whole industry.
Sure. So. Wow. Okay. Well, listen, I just want to wrap this up here. So lastly, give us one more time on what the date of the grand opening is and where they can find this new location in Pittsford.
So again, we're a little ways away because the excitement is building. We have 80. So we take the sledgehammer and start the demolition 85 days from today. Peter knows I'm big on countdowns. So 85 days we'll be across the street from Adrian Jules with a sledgehammer, cleaning out, demoing the current Joseph Bay. But then basically, it's May 3rd. So May 3rd is our grand opening event. And this location is on Monroe Avenue, opposite side of the road at Cheesecake Factory. And we're right in it's Pittsford Square, which is basically that vitamin shop plaza. That's where we'll be going, and can't be more excited.
Awesome. Well, listen, Jared, thank you again for being a part of the show. Looking forward to the new location and coming to the grand opening. So again, thank you so much for being a part of it.
Hey, thanks a lot for having me. I really appreciate it.
You got it, man.
Great. All right.
Cheers.
Appreciate it. All right, take care. Bye.
That wraps up another episode of Thread Talks. To dive deeper into the stories and expertise shared today, make sure to check out the show notes for more about our distinguished guests and the exceptional craftsmanship at Adrian Jules Custom Clothier. Loved what you heard? Don't forget to hit 5 stars, leave us a review, and remember, dress to impress today. When you look great, you feel great.